Balboa's backyard serves as the canvas for another heavyweight bout in the American. Memphis led by one of the nation's top quarterbacks, Paxton Lynch, while linebacker Tyler Matakevich personifies Temple tough. He's the game's most prolific tackler. Temple lost to South Florida last week. That means the Owls have to finish the regular season a game better than the Bulls if Temple wants to play for the conference championship in the American. Good afternoon from Philadelphia. Anish Shroff alongside Ahmad Brooks. Well, you saw the schedule. South Florida finishes with winless UCF, which pretty much means Temple is in must-win territory if it wants to play for a league title.
Yeah, head coach Matt Ruhle said that they got just flat out toughed and out physical versus South Florida. So they'll have to get back to those ways of being a bully on the football field. And for Memphis, they're doing some things that have not happened in this program. If they win today, it'll be the 19th win in 2 seasons. Compare that to 5 that they had in the 3 seasons prior. And quarterback Paxton Lynch is a guy to watch. He's a phenomenal football player.
He might be the #1 pick when the draft rolls around in 2016. Justin Fuente and Matt Ruhle. You talk about coaching prospects whose stocks are on the rise. These two will be 2 of the most coveted with all the job openings out there.
Yeah, what they've been able to do at both of their respected places, openings around the country want that type of energy and that type of success.
Temple will start at its own 25-yard line. The Owls started 7-0. They've lost 2 of 3. One of the few bright spots of late, though, has been the quarterback, P.J. Walker. The coaches told us the light bulb has gone on for him.
Well, he's a dual-threat guy, one of those traditional players, and he's been more in the pocket this year and shown that he can be a pocket passer. But he's also a player that when he gets loose can extend plays, very athletic, and will be used today in some design quarterback runs.
Walker needs 1 more touchdown pass to tie the all-time Temple record. Walker to the air on first down, incomplete, intended for Robbie Anderson. Chauncey Lanier on the coverage, and we have our first penalty.
Pass interference, number 12 of the defense. 15-yard penalty automatic, first down.
That's been the underbelly of this Memphis defense all season long, the secondary.
Yeah, I think when you look back at this play, it's great coverage. He's got to turn his head around. When you've got that type of position, when you're in the wide receiver's hip pocket, I thought he was a little handsy, too much hands up top. If you are going to put those hands, put them down lower where the official will let you play through your physical touch.
On the ground for the first time. And that is David Hood getting to start for Temple with a gain of 6. Only his 22nd carry of the season. Temple rewards its best practice players during the week with starts, and Hood had the best practice week of any of the Temple running backs.
Speaking of Matt Ruhle, that's one of the adjustments and changes he's made since coming to Temple. And what I think it does is it makes practice important. And for players, sometimes you need that extra motivation.
Run it again. It's Hood, and he's about a yard shy of the line to gain. So 3rd and 1 coming up for the Temple Owls. Temple began the season 7-0. That was the best start in school history. They were ranked for the first time since 1979. Almost beat Notre Dame here in Philadelphia with game day in town. Came back with a win against SMU, but the defense was torched in that game, giving up 40. And the Owls lost last week in blowout fashion against South Florida. Walker with time. And that's hauled in by Robbie Anderson for the first down. Anderson missed all of last season. He was academically ineligible.
Well, you asked about P.J. Walker and his development. Watch here, just a simple corner route from the inside wide receiver, but he threw this ball to a location and not necessarily to a wide receiver, threw it into an open window, which allowed his wide receiver space to go out and make a catch and move the chains.
Back to Jihad Thomas here on first down. The ball is out. Memphis says they have it. Still no signal from the Stripes. And now they say it is Memphis football, so Temple turns it over on its opening drive.
Shahad Thomas here just trying to make some moves. And when you're an elusive back like this that has lateral movement, the one thing that you've got to do when making a cut, you've got to get that ball high and tight across your body so that defenders can't poke it out. When it's loose like this, you see just there, that left part, not getting that elbow inside, not crossing the football across his chest, that's when fumbles occur.
Donald Pennington forced the fumble. Noah Robinson recovered. And we get our first look at this Memphis offense as Dorland Dorceus picks up 3. Dorsey is coming off a 100-yard game, but he makes it go for the Tigers, who have lost 2 straight. Paxton Lynch, he could be the #1 pick of the draft next year. Mose Frazier motions. On the ground, Dorceus. And he is to the 33, and he is tackled by Tyler Matakevich, the lifeblood of this Temple defense.
2 plays, 2 tackles for Matakevich. The young man is just all over the field and has a nose for the football. Big third down here. These are the moments where Paxton Lynch thrives the most.
Memphis, one of the best in the nation on third down. Temple, one of the best third down defenses. Lynch's pass is low. It's caught by Alan Cross. This will be close to the first down. It'll depend on the spot. And it is enough for a first down. Alan Cross came to Memphis as a walk-on long snapper. He will leave as a first-team all-conference tight end.
Yeah, I just really love how they use him, you know, and in talking to the coaching staff, they said he's a tweener in all positions. He's not a wide receiver, he's not a tight end, he's not a fullback, but he does everything better than anybody else in all 3 of those areas.
On the sweep, Sam Kraft has a little bit of room, and Kraft torpedoes ahead to the 30-yard line for a gain of 24. Alex Wells finally took him down. Justin Fuente telling us teams playing this Memphis offense differently of late. A lot of soft coverage, making this Tiger offense take what's underneath. And miscommunication there as Lynch's pass sailed on Anthony Miller. Last week, Miller did not play, hurt himself during pregame warmups.
And you just start to wonder with Lynch. You saw that ankle get rolled up on. That's either his plant foot or his lead leg, which either one. And I can tell you this much: as a quarterback, you really need that to get the umph in your throw and to be able to be as accurate as he needs to be for them to win this football game.
And again, changing the play, what he does pre-snap, so crucial to this offense. There's Oglesby using the stiff arm, and he somehow works his way out of that ambush.
Wow, that was special. I mean, when you call that play as an offensive coordinator, you're not expecting that type of performance. But I tell you what, you get more touches if the coaches can see that you're that type of player. That was just fantastic work there from the young man from Orlando, Florida.
They've got a lot of different receivers who they'll use, and on any given Saturday, any of those wideouts could be the alpha. Against the 4-man rush, there's Frazier. And he's taken down just shy of the 10 by Sean Chandler. Long drive here for Memphis that started at the Tiger 1-yard line.
And here's where the tempo just really starts to wear down on a defense. When you're going this fast, it's hard to adjust and get set.
Oglesby breaks a tackle in the backfield, and then he's taken down on that near sideline by Jared Alwan. Third down coming up for Memphis. This will be the 14th play of the drive.
And we have not seen Memphis move the pocket with Lynch since that first third down. Maybe now's the time to get him on the move and allow him to have the ability to run for the first down or to throw for it.
Cross motions. You called it, Ahmad. Cross in the flat, and he dropped it. It's incomplete. Oh, that would have been a touchdown for Alan Cross.
The second drop on a crucial third down for Memphis. Now is not the time. And he walks in the end zone if he catches this football. And I'm not so sure that wasn't a catch. That was a really close call. It looked like he might have had 2 down there. But at the end of the day,
not reviewable since they ruled it incomplete.
yeah, that's just a tough play. You have the right play call made. The quarterback finds the right man to throw the football to, and Cross, who's been reliable for this team, just couldn't come through.
Field goal for Jake Elliott is good. He missed what could have been the game winner last week. A strong start for the Memphis kicker, and the Tigers with 3 points off a Temple turnover. Memphis leading Temple 3-zip. The Tigers drove 86 yards on 15 plays. The drive capped with a field goal by Jake Elliott, and that has to feel good. He's one of the best kickers in the conference, special teams player of the year last year. Missed one last week, but it was a 48-yarder, and this team fully supports their outstanding kicker. That's Jagger Gardner to the 20-yard line. Gardner again, and he picks up 3. It'll bring up 2nd and 7. Gardner keeps it on 2nd and 7, and he's going to be 2 yards shy of the marker, so 3rd and 2 for Temple. Ahmad, you wondered about Memphis' psyche coming into this game. This was a Tigers team that started 8-0, best start since 1938. A few weeks ago, they were playing for everything. A conference championship, maybe a spot in a New Year's Six bowl, and some even saw them as a dark horse playoff contender. All that is now off the table, especially after that grueling loss where they blew a 20-point fourth quarter lead against Houston. You wondered how much was left in the tank. Another running play here on 3rd and 2, and that time Memphis' defense comes up with the stop. Big stop there on 3rd down. They forced 2 turnovers. I think they've answered the question if they're motivated in this first quarter.
They've still got a lot to play for in terms of what this team can do for program history. You know, before Justin Fuente arrived, this was a program that had won 5 games in 3 seasons. Over the last 2 seasons, if they win today, this will be the 19th win in 2 seasons. That would make it a school record. So you see the motivation. The motivation is there. These are competitors. This is a team that knows how close they were, but they're still trying to climb the ladder in the world of college football.
Memphis will take a 3-0 lead to the second quarter. The Tigers getting their 3 points off of a Temple turnover. The Owls turned it over twice in the first 15 minutes. Stella, Temple's live mascot. Temple known as the Owls because the school's origin was that of a night school. 4th and 1 to start the second quarter, and Temple comes out with its offense on the field with the ball at the Owls' 45. And this may just be a ploy to drive the defense off sides. No, they'll run the play. It's Jihad Thomas. And judging by the spot, it looks like he's going to be short.
That's just a great job from this Memphis defense. And you start talking about when you've got big bodies in there like that, you've got to be physical. You've got to be aggressive. You know, whether this Memphis defense knew that they were going to go for it or not, they were prepared, they were ready, and they finished off the play. And a nice job of the spot there by the officials there. It looked accurate to me.
You know, if you crunch the numbers, statistically, that is the right call. But do you agree with Matt Ruhle's decision?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, this team, before they got this ball, were averaging 7 yards a pop.
That's Paxton Lynch right back to the line of scrimmage, maybe lost a yard. Now a chance for Memphis here to go up 2 scores as they begin in plus territory.
Justin Fuente yesterday said, in talking about Lynch, he said, we could run the wheels off of this guy, but we also know how important he is to the football team, so look for him to get involved in the running game at some point.
Off play action. They'll dump it off to his running back. Jamarius Henderson takes it to the 42. Third down coming up for Memphis. That last tackle by Tyler Matakevich. That is his 100th tackle. And he is now just the 7th player in FBS history with 4 100-tackle seasons.
One of my favorite football players in all of college football. His story is amazing, and I love the energy and effort in which he plays with on every play.
Third down pass is complete, and that will move the chains. Phil Mayhew has really come on the last 3 weeks for Memphis.
Yeah, and Lynch there recognized the blitz from the field and went immediately to the boundary where he had a one-on-one opportunity.
Tigers going quickly. Kraft looking for the edge and tripped up by Tavon Young. That's the second terrific play by Young on the perimeter.
Yeah, and he looks a little banged up there, a little woozy after the tackle. But that's just a fantastic effort, and that's what I love about this young man when you watch him on film. Watch his ability to close here and then to finish off the play. Looks like he got kneed right underneath that left arm. But what a fine effort. If he doesn't contain this play, it goes for big yardage. But the cornerback took the appropriate angle and then finished off the tackle. One of the finest corners in all of America.
Henderson again, and he's inside the 30. Henderson was too banged up to play last week. Memphis will rotate its running backs. They've got about 4, and we've seen all of them so far. Here we go again, another third down. Memphis 3 out of 5 on third downs, 51% on the season. Lynch in trouble, gets rid of it. And that's going to be short of the marker. No gain. Pressure that time coming from Temple. And who else? Number 8, Matakevich.
Yeah, he's just got a nose for the football here and pulls up the quarterback, forced him to make a short throw, didn't give him an opportunity to look downfield. Watch how he tacks the football. And this guy doesn't miss. When he gets his hands on you, you watch film, very few plays where he gets his hands on you and he doesn't drag you down.
So another chance for Elliott, this one from 46. The kick is up and good. So if you thought his confidence was shaken after the miss last week, you're wrong. He's got 2 field goals. It's 6-0 Memphis. He missed a long kick last week, but simply put, he is one of the best kickers, not just in the American Conference, but nationally.
That's a difficult job to do. During the week, players and teammates make fun of kickers and punters because they don't do a lot. But on game day, their roles are so vital and important, especially in close ball games when everything's on the line.
Gardner will watch this bounce outside of the end zone, and Temple ball at the 25-yard line. 3 drives for Temple. They fumbled it away the first time, an interception at the 1 on the second drive, and turned it over on downs near midfield last time out. Another fumble, this time Jihad Thomas able to cover it up. It's a loss of 5, though, and it's 2nd and 15.
Yeah, this is beyond jitters. When you start moving into the second quarter, right now they're just off sync, and a lot of it might have to do with Jihad Thomas did not practice a lot this week. But these are 2 high school teammates, so they've done this millions of times, handing off the football. But when you don't practice, that's when you work on your footwork, your timing, and the ability to make sure that you have a clean handoff.
Out of the backfield, that's Hood. And he's across the 35 for a Temple first down.
Just a nice play design there from Temple as they moved the running back who lined up in the slot, motioned him across the field, snuck him right out into the flat, and Walker read the defense, found his back, checked it down, and they were able to get a first down.
Walker slings one across the middle, and that is hauled in by Ventel Bryant. The redshirt freshman has more receptions and receiving yards than any other Temple freshman in the history of this program.
Yeah, but when you've got a guy like Walker throwing it to you, yesterday we asked the coaches about his arm strength and his ability to be able to make all the throws. That time there, he threw it in a very tight window with tremendous velocity and zip on the football. And, you know, he just continues to develop as a passer, which makes him one of the more dangerous quarterbacks in the country.
David Hood tripped up in the backfield, still able to get a couple of yards, 2nd and 8. Part of Walker's improvement attributed to the addition of quarterbacks coach Glenn Thomas. It was Matt Ryan's QB guru for years in Atlanta, and they've simplified a lot of the game planning and a lot of the mechanics that have to do with playing quarterback.
That helps. When I don't have to think a lot, I can just go out there and play freely. And that's what he's looked like he's done over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Walker stands in. He's got his tight end, Colin Thompson. And the Florida transfer takes it inside the 20. Finally brought down by Lanier. It's a gain of 33.
Yeah, I like watching Colin Thompson play. You'll see him here. He lines up on the left side of your screen, and he just pretends to block, releases out in a seam route. P.J. Walker knew it was coming and found him with an excellently thrown football. But the things that stand out when you watch Colin Thompson on film, he's an excellent blocker, but you see there, he also has the ability to catch the football. When you got a middle-of-the-field threat like that, it certainly does make it easier on the quarterback.
Gardner, and a freshman, pushes inside the 15. Well, moving the ball has not been an issue for Temple. Finishing drives has. 3rd time already in this first half, Temple inside the Memphis 30. The other 2 drives ended in turnovers. And last week, in 5 red zone trips in the loss to South Florida, only 2 touchdowns. Walker changes things up. Looking for Anderson. And he cannot hold on. Covered by Mollett.
Yeah, Walker moved the running back over. He saw the pressure coming, which gave him the time to find his favorite target, Anderson. And the ball could have maybe been thrown a little bit further outside, but if you're Anderson, you've got to stack the defensive back so that he's now behind you, where it makes it a lot easier for the quarterback to either lead it out in front of you or throw it over your left shoulder. That time there, Anderson was covered very well by Memphis, and these are the plays where if you're a cornerback and you know that you've got that fade route happening to you in the end zone, that is where you make your money as a defensive back, and Memphis today has made a few of those plays near the goal line.
2nd one by Mollett. End zone again, and that's caught for a touchdown. Ramon DeLoach.
He went back to the same exact play with a different matchup. And that was just a phenomenal throw. I think the catch was a tad bit better. But watch it here, the body control, the ability to find the football, stay in bounds. No question about it in my mind, that's a catch. DeLoach there, the young man, 6'4", 214 pounds. He's not a big guy, but he's a tall guy. And those are the types of targets you look for in the red zone. The young man from Hampton, Virginia, making a big play for the Owls.
And with that touchdown pass, P.J. Walker now has 49 for his career. He is tied with Henry Burris for most in Temple history. Extra point by Jones is good.
You talked about his leadership. You talked about his ability to make plays. This young man is showing he can be special for sure. P.J. Walker doing his thing.
I want you looking at me.
When you come to Philadelphia, you go for a cheesesteak, and the tourist places are Pat and Gino's. You talk to the locals, they send you to gyms.
Yeah, I went. It was loud in there. The atmosphere was great. It felt like a football game, and the food was fantastic.
Just don't say downtown Philadelphia.
Yeah, Center
City.
Okay, I got it.
Temple to kick off. P.J. Walker's touchdown pass to Ramon DeLoach has gotten the Owls on the board and in the lead. Oglesby brings this one out to the 23-yard line.
Temple, despite having some early turnovers and some mistakes, are now leading this ball game.
Memphis back to work on offense. Low throw. Oh, he'd be down right where he caught that. Well, they say it's incomplete. This is a Tigers offense that averages almost 44 points per game. They're closing in on the school record for most points in a season. And a lot has to do with having maybe the best quarterback in all of college football.
I think that's where you start. And I also think they've got a really good scheme in place, and they spread the football around and make it hard for defenses to guess where the football's going.
Lynch, a little speed option. And Dorland Dorcius gets back to the line of scrimmage, 3rd and 10.
Great job there from the safety. Doing a fine job. I believe it was Alex Wells really spinning down and forcing that ball back inside to his defenders.
Matt Ruhle told us yesterday, Temple not intimidated by Paxton Lynch. They respect him. But he said, listen, we faced Christian Hackenberg, Blake Bortles a few years ago, Teddy Bridgewater. We've seen pro quarterbacks as Lynch completes the pass, but it's well short of the first down marker, and the Tigers will have to kick it away.
I love the energy they just showed on that 3rd down. Guys were flying all over the place, running to the football, and when they got there, they had ill intent. They were trying to bring the pain. This Temple defense there did a good job of getting off of the field, and now looks to give their offense good field position.
Chandler back deep to receive this punt. Fields it at the 25. And then dropped at the 31. 6:52 to go in the first half. Temple with a 1-point lead. Temple lost to South Florida last week, so the Owls, if they want to win the East Division in the American Conference, have to finish a game better than USF. The Bulls won big against Cincy last night, and South Florida closes the season against winless and hapless UCF, which means Temple probably has to win out to get to the conference championship game.
I would agree. South Florida looked great last night, by the way. They really poured it on.
Off play action, P.J. Walker. Nearly intercepted, almost turnover number 3. Chauncey Lanier had his mitts on that. Remember last week against Houston, Lanier dropped what could have been the game-sealing interception.
He was just in the right position. He baited the quarterback in cover 2 to throw the route that beats cover 2, the corner route. Gets his hands on the football, and a lot of wide receivers will tell you that's the reason why he's playing on defense, that he can't catch the football. But a fine job there. He just has to finish the play.
You were a former DB. What do you remember more, the passes you get beat on or those near picks?
The passes you get beat on. You never live those down. I don't care what position you play. You remember when you lose matchups.
This is Walker, and the junior out of Elizabeth, New Jersey, gets to the 36. Temple got off to its best start in school history, 7-0. That set up a showdown on Halloween against Notre Dame with game day in town. And with the Owls and the Irish ranked, Temple nearly upset Notre Dame. They took the Irish to the brink. But since that loss to Notre Dame, the defense gave up 40 to SMU, and then 40+ to South Florida. And Temple has dropped 2 of 3 since that great start. Walker across the middle, Brandon Shippen. Nobody in front of him. Can Memphis catch him? They do, but he takes it inside the 20. Lanier ran him down, but not before a 50-yard pickup.
The guy who makes the tackle is the guy who missed the interception. Montgomery, Memphis offense should be back out on the field. But this was just an underneath route, a drag as they call it. Walker doing a good job. He's not the tallest guy at 6'1", 200 pounds, but he found the right arm slot and angle to get the ball out in traffic. And then the run after the catch was enough to make any fan excited about it.
And credit this Memphis defense, which has been bend, but it really hasn't broken. Hood running to the outside, looking for room. It's just not there as he's swallowed up by that Tiger front.
Nice job of just stringing out the play and forcing the running back to run east and west rather than north and south. And good defenses know how to do that. What that allows is it gives you the ability as a defense to run the ball down, to chase it down. But you have to play team defense to do that. And Memphis doing a fine job of defending that play.
Robbie Anderson, the top wide receiver, at the bottom of your screen. John Christopher, the slot receiver. They give us to the running back. Hood slips a tackle, bounces off another defender, and in for the score. First career rushing touchdown for David Hood.
It came off of a few missed tackles, but when you run with that type of violent nature, people tend to fall off you more. You see it here. Hood, a nice job of cutting outside. The miss there from Noah Robinson, and then he just finishes off the run with great determination. He ran behind his pads, and the cookie there was the touchdown. Hood got the start today, and they said he's practiced well this week. And you saw it there. It's paid off with a nice and forceful run to put Temple on the board.
Extra point is good to make it an 8-point game. I've got to believe the winner of the American Conference, which has been so good this year, will get that New Year's Six bowl berth.
I would be shocked if they don't.
I know Toledo's got a case with wins against Arkansas and Iowa State, but from top to bottom, this American Conference has proved itself, and it's been a number of teams that have done it against the Power Five.
I think when you look at these teams in the American Athletic Conference, you also see they've got some really young and bright coaches. When you watch them on film, these are well-coached units on both sides of the ball typically, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think the team that wins the American Athletic Conference will certainly have an edge in making one of those bowls.
The Group of Five's playoff spot, or I should say New Year's Six spot, goes to the highest-ranked conference champion out of the Group of Five, and that's what takes Memphis out of the equation. They're ineligible for the conference championship after that loss to Houston last week.
Yeah.
Lynch will hand it off on first down, and that's the big back, Jarvis Cooper, 245 pounds. And there's Matakevich again.
Yeah, and one thing that you notice when you see Temple on film as a defense, they do a good job of disengaging in blocks. You see him here just doing a nice job of spin move, very athletic play to get off the block.
Near sideline, nice spin move. And that's Phil Mayhew getting out of bounds. Mayhew grew up about 35 minutes outside of Philadelphia in Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Now, I won't say that was the sickest spin move I've seen all year. I'll give that one to Braxton Miller. But this one's up there. I mean, he does this in a phone booth. Wow.
Cooper engulfed by a sea of cherry red. Nate D. Smith got there first.
That is intimidating. When you see that on film and their willingness to run to the football, stuff the run, offenses do not like to compete against defenses like that.
Empty look on second and long. Lynch under pressure and sacked. Hassan Reddick, who began his career as a defensive back, and he's quicker than the safeties, got to Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, this is just an amazing job of keeping contained. And you see him there. He forces Paxton back into the pocket, but it was that quickness and that agility and that mobility and the speed you talked about allowed him to plant his foot in the ground, get back to the quarterback, and make a huge sack on second down.
Let's say it again. A D-end who was once a DB.
When they said that, literally my jaw hit the ground. That is an amazing, and you can imagine how that helps him as a rusher.
A run play here on third and long, and that's Kraft. And that's a smart call. That sets up a much more makeable field goal. Elliott will come on to kick this one. Originally, they were looking at about a 54-yarder, but now you're looking at about a 43-yarder for one of the best kickers in college football.
And how about this Temple defense? You know, Memphis has not gotten the ball in the end zone all game today. And, I mean, you're looking at it, you're under 2 minutes in the second quarter, and they've kept this potent offense out of the end zone. That's an impressive first-half performance.
44-yarder for Elliott, who has made one from 46 and another from 31. And he is 3 for 3 after the miss last week. The Tigers will get the ball to start the third quarter. And the third quarter is going to have a lot of drama. Memphis has trailed in 6 of its 8 wins this season. Temple has been a great third quarter team. A lot of drama, a lot of game left to be played here in Philly. Let's get you to halftime now in Brendan. Well, that's the iconic pose here in Philadelphia. P.J. Walker struck it in the first half for Temple. The Owls with a 5-point lead on Memphis. In a critical game for Temple if they have aspirations to get to the conference championship. Adi Schroff, Ahmad Brooks. Ahmad, Temple's defense was lit up the last 2 weeks after being so good the first 7 weeks. Well, today against one of the best offenses in all the country, they've been outstanding in the first half.
Memphis is the 6th best scoring offense in the country, and they have not scored a touchdown in the entire first half. And here's how they've done it. This defense has been aggressive. They've been flying all around the field, and you'll see some great individual efforts here. First one comes from the cornerback, Tavon. Just a nice job of busting up the play. Here, a missed tackle. What? You've got 3 teammates to come and clean up the play. Once again, flushing Paxton Lynch outside of the pocket. Tyler Matakevich doing that. And then here, just a fine play of rolling back around. But this defense has been dominant, and they have kept this Memphis offense out of the end zone.
Paxton Lynch, who came into this game for Memphis, the quarterback, as one of the top QB prospects in all of college football. He's been held in check. There's your game track brought to you by Taco Bell. Temple has fixed whatever was wrong the previous 2 games. Memphis to receive the third quarter kick. Jalen Oglesby, the deep man for the Tigers. Oglesby from the 9. He's dropped shy of the 30. Well, in the third quarter, Memphis has scored 121 points this season, 4th most nationally. Temple has given up only 22, the 2nd fewest. Temple has been a terrific third quarter team. Memphis has been a great second half team. This is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, something has to give, and I have a feeling number 12 will have something to say about those Temple numbers, as Paxton Lynch didn't have the best half. Probably is going to come out here firing.
Dorland Dorsey is tackled by Matakevich. No gain. Dorsey is coming off his second 100-yard game. Has been bottled up so far. 4 carries, 6 yards.
They've just been disciplined on that side of the ball for Temple.
Dorsey is out of the backfield. And he takes a pop at the 30-yard line after a gain of 7.
Strong safety Smith coming up and making some plays. And you go back and look at Lynch's numbers. The last 2 games, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The first 8 games of the year, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. So if you're Lynch, you're really trying to come out and do what you were doing early on in the season.
To be fair, we probably hold him to a much higher standard. Lynch steps up, and that one skips on cross. Memphis goes 3 and out. And Ahmad, you've got to wonder, Lynch took a hit in the first half. It looked to be his ankle. We have not seen him as mobile in the pocket as we normally do.
I couldn't agree more. And I also think when you look at it, even to be stationary, I mean, you're talking about ankles. That's what you use to be able to get a good base, to be able to throw the football. And he's thrown a few balls high and a few low. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Chandler with the fair catch off the punt by Spencer Smith, a 42-yard boot. Walker on the keeper. And he dives across the 40 to the 41 for a gain of 6. Memphis has had trouble today sustaining momentum and capitalizing on momentum changes.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing right now, why Temple is going up-tempo, is because they feel that and sense that and really are now trying to go for the kill.
Jihad Thomas back in the game for Temple at running back. Second leading rusher in the American. Thomas gets the call. Cuts it back to the middle. And he's spun down by DeMarco Montgomery after a gain of 2. There's Thomas on 3rd and 2. And he's going to be short of the first down.
The defense coordinator there for Memphis, Galen Scott, had 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. They were ready for the run, and this Memphis defense was determined to stop them there on 3rd down.
Well, it's 4th and short in the first half. Matt Ruhle, in a situation like this from his own territory, between the 40 and the 50, decided to go for it.
Now is when you start to talk about the center, number 68, getting the start today in place of number 79, Kyle Friend. Usually when you run these types of plays, you want them right up the middle. Maybe that makes you think twice about running a quarterback sneak here, though, although Walker's under center.
Temple will keep it on the ground, and I don't think they got it. Another turnover on downs by the Owls in their own territory.
Great job by Donald Pennington, the young man from Amite, Louisiana, 6'2", 295. He just clogs up this play. You see the pile that he has to run around? You see number 58 at the bottom of that. Now, he won't get credited for the tackle, but everybody in the defensive meeting room will know his effort was the reason. Watch him here. I mean, just a great job of fighting through the block to make the pile up there for a big stop on 4th down.
Dorsey is brought down by the ankles at the 39-yard line by free safety Alex Wells. And for Memphis, Ahmad, this is another opportunity to get back in the game. It seems they've had plenty. They've had possessions in plus territory. They've got to capitalize.
They just haven't gotten in the rhythm.
Lynch to Frazier. And Frazier scampers out of bounds close to the first down. Paxton Lynch, 14 out of 21. Here's the blitz. Near sideline, caught by Mayhew, and a first down for Memphis.
That's the 2nd time today that I've seen Lynch recognize where the blitz is coming from, see the spinning down safety, and go to the right man. They had a house call blitz on this particular time. Sits in the pocket with a fine throw.
Temple slow to set up. This is Lynch, and he's dropped at the 18-yard line, a gain of 2. Paxton Lynch, a kid who was not heavily recruited at all out of high school. In fact, Memphis was his only scholarship offer from an FBS school. The other offer from Florida A&M, an FCS school.
Wow.
And that is Medikevich again making the stop right at the line of scrimmage. He's on every play.
He's just a tough son of a gun. I mean, man, he's the type of guy that you don't want to be in a bar fight with. I mean, really, you're going to have to throw some serious haymakers to knock this guy out. And he plays football with that same type of Rocky mentality.
His story's similar to Lynch's. Another kid wasn't looked at by a lot of schools out of high school, went to prep school, and has become a star for Temple. Lynch will tuck it and run. And he is taken down by Chandler for a loss. 4th down for Memphis. The Temple defense does it again.
Indecision on the part of Lynch, whether he wanted to keep the football up and throw the football downfield or run for the first down. And he tries to stay behind the line of scrimmage, but as you said, this Temple defense is playing team defense right now. They know their assignment. They're playing technique sound, and they're winning mentally and physically right now against this Memphis unit.
Elliott 3 out of 4. He missed the last one. Knocks it through from 39. Memphis has been kept out of the end zone, but they do get 3.
This Owl defense has been special, forcing field goals on every possession that they've gotten close, and here's why. Just big-time plays.
Washington Monument at the Museum of Art in Philadelphia. This hasn't exactly been a Matisse or a Rembrandt today. 14-12 here in the third quarter. And the cradle of liberty, Temple with a 2-point lead. The Owls will receive after Memphis just made its 4th field goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, 3 red zone attempts for Memphis, 0 touchdowns. Outstanding job today from this Temple defense.
With South Florida's win against Cincinnati last night, Temple has to win its last 2 games in all likelihood if it wants to play for a conference championship. USF has 1 game left. That's against UCF, which is winless on the season.
Yeah, and in talking to Matt Ruhle yesterday, he made it very clear. The challenge to the players was this. We're here. We've got an opportunity to compete for a conference title. What are you going to do? Yes, we've been disappointed in losing 2 of the last 3 games, but things are still out in front of us. And so that's been the challenge to his team the entire week.
Temple closes the season next week against UConn. And that could be a Huskies team playing for bowl eligibility. The freshman Jagger Gardner, the lone North Carolinian on this Temple roster, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Well, you credit this Memphis defense as well. We don't associate this Tiger football program with defensive prowess. They're known to be an offensive team, but with the offense's struggles today, especially finishing drives, the defense has come up with some big plays, come up with some key stops and turnovers to keep Memphis in the game.
That's been the story, yeah, for them. Their ability to create takeaways. And every great defense, every good defense knows how to get the ball back from the offense.
Walker stands in, the pass behind Robbie Anderson. 3rd down for Temple. On 3rd and 10, edge pressure. Walker in trouble. He'll try to get away. And P.J. Walker with his feet gets the 1st down for Temple.
What a fantastic play, as there's an injured Tiger. But before we go to that, just watch the awareness here. You know, he knew once that he felt the pressure of the pocket, that he was running the football, and you could tell that was obvious. And Memphis had dropped back defenders. P.J. Walker making them pay for that because that space created running opportunities for a fine dual threat quarterback.
Downfield, Bryant makes the catch at the 30. Tackled by Chris Morley, a gain of 29, and Temple into Memphis territory.
This ball was thrown in the right location, but you've got to give credit to the wide receiver, Ventel Bryant, a young man that they really think has come along, for coming back to the football. And had he not come back to the football, maybe it gives enough space for the defender to come out and knock that ball down. But a good job there from the young Bryant of making a big catch.
They really like his upside. He and Robbie Anderson, a really good 1-2 tandem. Walker's going to throw. The only receiver was Deloach, and it's incomplete. That was a run formation, and Walker decided to go in the direction of Ramon Deloach, who has Temple's 1st touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened here. It looked like the wide receiver was supposed to run a fade route, which typically means you've got to get outside. But just as he was trying to do that, the cornerback did a good job of cutting off his route, which forced him back inside. And that's why you saw that ball go to the far right, past both the defender and the wide receiver.
Temple picks up the blitz, incomplete pass, and another 3rd down. Temple has been in these situations a lot, plus territory. 45 yards, probably pushing the edge of Austin Jones's field goal range. Brandon Shippen, who left the game in the first half, back in at slot receiver. Near sideline, and that's a first down for Temple. Robbie Anderson, another third down conversion.
Easy pitch and catch. And these two guys have worked on their chemistry for years now, and you see it really coming to fruition. Just good timing on this entire route. You watch it here. He pushes the wide receiver up, coming out on a speed out, and the defensive back just didn't react soon enough, and P.J. Walker put the ball in the right location. First down.
Jagger Gardner, the deep back in the eye. Two tight ends to the right. Gardner running power. And he's to the 13-yard line, a gain of 2. And that might have been the last play of this third quarter.
They really like Gardner. They feel like they've got several backs that they can rely on, and you've seen them out here today. They've certainly shared the touches in the backfield amongst the running backs.
David Hood has the most carries today with 11. Jihad Thomas, who's banged up after last week, has not seen a ton of snaps. But Temple takes a 2-point lead into the final 15 minutes at home. 14-12 after 3 quarters in Philadelphia. LeBron's statue of Rocky near the Art Museum, and Marcus Satterfield, Temple's offensive coordinator, he says we're going to line up in big sets. We're going to rock you for 4 quarters. We call them body blows. If you can withstand it, great. But we're going to try to get you to drop those hands. The boxing analogy works well in the city of brotherly love.
Yeah, I love it. And they've been able to come out here and do that today. Can they score in the red zone again? Temple has 3 trips, 2 touchdowns on the day inside the red zone.
Touchdown Temple, Kip Patton on the misdirection.
I've watched a lot of film on the outs. I'm not sure if I've seen that play from Kip Patton, a young man. They like this redshirt freshman, and they said he would have played more, but he's just been inconsistent at times. And so he's got the athletic ability. They really do think he's going to grow into being one of the staple tight ends of this program. That time there, though, just a surprise play, and you saw it there. He showed his athletic ability to be able to weave his way through traffic and find the end zone.
That's a tight end.
Yeah, exactly. You don't see that a lot.
Extra point by Jones is good, and Temple with a 2-score lead.
Yo, you'll just watch the tight end. This is him right here. He's going to come back across, and this is a very, very unique play, one I haven't seen a whole lot. He just sneaks in. I think he surprises the defense, and then a great block on the outside from Saladin Major, the other tight end. Watch him here. That really breaks the play open, gives him a cutback lane, and the rest is history. Very creative play calling on the part of this Temple offensive staff.
So you saw what Satterfield said, body blows for 4 quarters. That was a haymaker.
Yeah, no
they
doubt.
landed a haymaker.
That was an uppercut.
And a break for Memphis.
Absolutely.
As the kick goes out of bounds. Dorcius, or rather Henderson, ran out of room. Well, this Temple defense right now has played with a lot of purpose. They know what's at stake. Temple, if it wins out, it doesn't matter what South Florida does. The Owls will have a berth in the conference championship game. Roderick Proctor went backwards and then able to get a few extra yards as he is whistled down at the 38. That's Medikevich in there. Not afraid of 3 white shirts.
Not at all. I wouldn't be either. He's a big man with a big stick, that's for sure. third down here. We've seen costly drops on third down from Memphis, which have really halted drives. Can they come out here today and continue to get some momentum going? You know, converting third downs, moving the chain, kind of get you in a rhythm. So now more pressure on Paxton Lynch.
Here's the blitz from Temple. Lynch with a screen pass, nobody there. Oh, the screen is the right call against the blitz.
You said it, Anish, but it was the speed there from Nate Smith, the safety, the strong safety. You'll see him come off to the right of your screen, and Lynch feels it, and he knows he's got to get the ball out a little sooner than he'd like. But a good play call there by the defense coordinator once again, and the players executing to perfection.
And this one over the head of Chandler. And into the end zone for a touchback. Well, last Saturday it was Memphis that had a big fourth quarter lead. The Tigers led Houston 34-14 early in the fourth, and then it all came apart. The Cougars rallied behind their backup quarterback, and Houston pulled the stunner 35-34. Memphis had a chance to win it at the end, but Jake Elliott's field goal in the final minute went wide, and Houston remained unbeaten. And with that loss, everything went out the window for Memphis. A chance at playing in a New Year's Six Bowl, a chance at a conference championship. You can forget the playoff dark horse narrative.
Now is where you need a big play from your defense. And if I'm Temple, I come out here and I try to control the clock. They brought in their fullback. Look for them to run the football here in the closing minutes of this game.
That's the fullback, 31, Michael Felton. David Hood for a yard. The safety, Chris Morley, on the stop, 2nd and 9. Given some of the spots they've been in, I got to tell you, this Memphis defense has played a lot better than the numbers suggest today.
Yeah, no, other than the red zone where Temple has completely dominated, they've been good going into the field.
It's been a bend but don't break defense that's had its moments. Lynch stands in against the blitz, finds Anderson, stiff arms his way across the 30 to the 34. A gain of a baker's dozen and a first down.
That was pretty from Walker. I mean, it was an off-balance throw. He was kind of leaning back, felt the pressure and the touch to be able to throw it to another location where his wide receiver could run right underneath it. That was a pretty play.
5 catches, 80 yards now for the senior Robbie Anderson. There is Jihad Thomas once more to the 46, brought down by Latarius Brady.
Yeah, when you've got a bunch of freshmen in behind Jihad Thomas, what do? You bring in the junior to make the right decisions. Even though he's a tad bit gimpy, they bring another one of their young running backs on the field as we say that. But you want the ball in the hands of a veteran, a guy that understands the importance of ball security right now as you're trying to milk the clock and come away with here today with a victory.
Edge pressure, Temple keeps it on the ground. Jagger Gardner with another Owls first down.
Now that's just power football. Yeah, we were talking about Temple tough early on in the broadcast, and we opened with that. And Matt Ruhle said, we've got to get back to our style of play. When you line up with 2 tight end sets, 1 wide receiver, a fullback in there, and everybody in the stadium knows where the ball is going, and you still get the first down, that's Temple tough.
And again, Walker and this Temple offense content to bleed some of this clock. Gardner fights forward, and he's to the 35-yard line for a gain of 3. I know there's 9+ minutes to go in this ball game, but given how Temple plays and how deliberate they're going to be down the stretch, at what point does Justin Fuente start considering using some timeouts?
I don't know. I think when it gets under, for me, the 5-minute mark, I think that's when it gets real dangerous, when you have to get into your 4-minute offense. But that's a great question and something that I'm sure he's pondering right now.
Once more to the ground, this time Jihad Thomas. It'll bring up 3rd down for Temple, but 3rd and 3 for Temple. The Owls, in all likelihood, probably need to win out to get to the conference championship game. Play clock at 1. P.J. Walker will keep it, and he's got a 1st down.
Great decision on the part of Walker here. This play, he has the option to hand the football off or to keep it. Watch him here. He sees the edge there. The defender loses contain, which gives him enough timing to get outside, pick up the 1st down, but then the awareness at the end of the play to get down on the football field and to eat up more clock. That's a veteran there making a good decision.
23 1st downs by Temple. This drive alone has taken up more than 6 minutes of game clock.
Wow.
Thomas to the 22. It's no surprise right now. Temple's going to run the football.
Yeah, still hard to stop. And part of it is when you've got a running back with the talent of Jihad Thomas there, that was a fine job of cutting and using his feet and getting in the right position.
If you're Memphis right now, you've got to think, listen, if we can hold Temple to a field goal, it keeps this at a 2-possession game.
That's what you're thinking. Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, too, with those possessions, they haven't done much with it today. So if you're this defense, what I'm thinking is get the football back and erase all points off the board. That's the best way to go.
Gardner inside the 20. Another 3rd down coming up for Temple. Noah Robinson with the tackle.
How methodical has this drive been?
I go back to the Navy game, Ahmad, where a drive like this has a twofold effect on a team like Memphis. Against Navy, Justin Fuente told us his team could not get into an offensive rhythm because their offense couldn't get on the field. Navy held it for so long. Here you are in the 4th quarter. Temple's had the ball now for 7.5 minutes on this drive. Well, you've got a rhythm offense. It's tough for them to get into a rhythm, and they haven't been able to.
Yeah.
Walker will throw. Incomplete, intended for Ventel Bryant. Walker tried to sneak that into double coverage. Lanier was there, and so was Ball.
That was just a wonderful drive, though. It took up nearly 8 minutes off the clock. Wow, just methodical. They managed to get it down to 3rd and short situations and then just powered through. The offensive line deserves a tremendous amount of credit because Memphis knew what was coming. Despite that, they still couldn't stop it.
A 35-yard attempt by Austin Jones. Jones's kick makes it a 12-point game. A 13-play, 62-yard drive that ate up 8 minutes of game clock. On its last drive, Temple went 62 yards on 13 plays, eating up 8 minutes of game clock. The Owls have a 12-point lead with 5:25 to play. But if you're Memphis, you're thinking, listen, this is one of the best offenses in the nation. It hasn't looked like it today. If the Tigers can score and get a stop, you still got a shot here. It's still a 2-possession game.
And you look at the yards here at this game, 186 total yards for Memphis. Their season low on the year, 425 yards at South Florida. And so when you think about the job that this Temple defense is doing right now, they've got the momentum. They're well rested. Their team has had the ball over 10 minutes longer than Memphis. So now's the time, if you're on defense, all of those studs that Temple has, Tyler, Matakevich, you're telling your guys, let's go close this game.
Oglesby. Taken down shy of the 30. Lynch over the middle. That's complete. Mose Frazier tackled by Alwan, a gain of 6. Clock continues to run. Memphis has all 3 timeouts. Anthony Miller. And how about Sean Chandler getting off that block?
They call him Champ, and you see right there, he makes a play with the wide receiver hanging right off of him. A fantastic play. I've been really impressed with both of these corners and what they've been able to accomplish all year long.
60th reception of the season for Frazier. It's 3rd down now. Lynch's pass. Frazier makes the catch. He's going to be shy of the line to gain, and it's 4th down for Memphis.
This defense has played physical today. I mean, they're tackling with force and power.
Lynch will try to sneak it. And he didn't get the push. No official signal yet. I think they're going to measure. They will measure. But according to the spot right after that play was whistled, it did not appear that Lynch got enough.
He's had a lot of meat in the middle there, and it's anchored there by the senior defensive tackle, Matt Ruhle.
Another one of those single-digit guys for Temple.
Tough. Bad man. Wow. Yeah, the energy in this place, you watch it here. These are the types of stops that you become legendary for when you think about programs, being able to stop teams on 4th and 1. You know, I realized what Memphis was trying to do when they rushed up to the line of scrimmage. They were trying to catch this Temple defense off guard, but I think it also prevented them from not getting into the best play on 4th and short. And you saw the Temple defense there just really took advantage of it.
Temple has held Memphis to under 200 yards in total offense. The Tigers came in averaging more than 540 yards of offense per game, as Gardner reaches for the 35 for a gain of 2. And Memphis will call its first timeout to stop the clock with 4:21 to go. Tyler Metakevich and the Owls can smell it. They're up by 12, 4:21 to go. Here's Hood on 2nd and 8. He's got a seam. And another first down for Temple. Well, part of Memphis's struggles today, Paxton Lynch, their all-world quarterback, tweaked something here early in the game, and he just hasn't been the same in terms of moving the pocket this afternoon.
Yeah, I agree, and his mobility is one of the most surprising parts of his game because of his size and the way that he extends plays. And if you've got a lower injury, leg injury, it makes it extremely difficult for you to be able to move around and to do exactly some of the things that he's done so well throughout the year.
New set of downs for the Owls. Under 4 minutes to play in regulation. Jagger Gardner spins to the 22 for a gain of 5. And Memphis uses its 2nd timeout. That's Hood, and he's to the 19-yard line. You know, you go back to that catch by Deloach as Memphis uses its final timeout. That addresses an advantage Temple has had in this game with its receivers. Robbie Anderson, 6'3", Deloach, 6'4", Bryant, 6'3". Memphis does not have a cornerback on its roster taller than 6'1".
Hey, you're talking to a guy who played cornerback at 5'8", so I don't want to hear that excuse. But does it make a difference, and does it make you a target in the red zone? There is no questioning about it, and when you look at matchups, Memphis believes they have the edge there in that matchup.
Off play action, Walker's got an open receiver. Saladin Major, and that'll seal it for the Owls.
Great play call. To get out in space. Once again, some people call this a waggle, where you fake one way, you allow the quarterback to boot, and you bring wide receivers underneath. And this time here, just a great job. They bring the tight end in motion. He pretends that he's about to block, slides out into an area in space where no one's there, and 50 career passing touchdowns there for the young man. That'll be a memorable one for him for sure.
He was tied with Henry Burris. And now P.J. Walker has thrown more TD passes than any other quarterback in the history of Temple football.
Yeah, this is the guy right here you're looking for. You'll see he pretends to block and then releases into a route, and that's what confused the defense. If you're reading him, you're thinking, oh, he's blocking. And all of a sudden, he slides out into a space in an area where it's wide open. Good play call, timely play call. And for PJ, you can see a moment there of knowing you've just sealed the game with a fantastic football play.
He has played some of his best football in the second half of the season, and the coaches told us it all started with the Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
Last year, this was a guy who had more interceptions than TDs. Took a step backwards, in fact, from his freshman year. Having a new quarterbacks coach in Glenn Thomas has really helped him, but that Notre Dame game gave him confidence. Even though he threw an interception in that game, it gave him confidence. He can play with anybody, and he's taken off since then.
You're right. And in your junior year, I know for most players, I know it happened for me, the game just starts to slow down. Your understanding, and it's a lot easier to take what you learn in the film room and bring it out to the football field and actually utilize it and use it to your advantage. And you can tell that his development and his growth has led him to that position.
Memphis has not returned a kick for a touchdown since 1996. Kraft is taken down shy of the 35. Final 2 minutes of regulation here at the Link. If Temple comes out of the East, the West will be decided next week. It'll be the winner of the Navy-Houston game. And talking to Memphis head coach Justin Fuente yesterday, he raved about Navy. He said, listen, sometimes with the service academies, you know they're going to be disciplined. You know those guys will work hard. They don't often have the athletes to compete at a high level. He said he was blown away by the caliber of athletes that Navy has.
Well, we know about their character, and that's without question.
And they've got a quarterback in Keenan Reynolds who just set the FBS career record for touchdowns. They've got a couple of fullbacks. They got a couple of wingbacks, and they run that option at you, which is not easy to defend.
I remember when I played in the Big 12 when Nebraska ran the option at the time. And it's just, in a world of football right now where not a lot of teams do that, it's so hard to plan for. And you've got to make sure that you've got a man on every option on every play, which thins out the defense and forces you to now have a responsibility and less likely to run the football. And they do a great job of executing it as well.
Frazier is tackled for a loss by Avery Williams, the senior, or rather the junior out of Baltimore. Final minute here at the Link. Paxton Lynch does have a streak on the line, 15 consecutive games with a TD pass. First time this season Memphis held without a touchdown. Only 226 yards. That's less than half of the Tigers' season average.
And when you look at it, you look at both of these two coaches on both sidelines, Matt Ruhle and Justin Fuente. Their names have been thrown out in a lot of jobs. This may be the last matchup we see between these two teams with these two coaches roaming the sidelines.
There's a lot of good coaches in this league. Now we saw two of them this afternoon. Temple needed to win. They got the win with a victory next week against UConn. Matt Ruhle's Owls will play for the conference championship. Final score from the Link: Temple 31, Memphis 12. Houston, UConn follows this game, but first we go to the studio and Brendan Fitzgerald.